Hello to everyone who's listening and welcome to CPHI Middle East podcast by Tira. I'm your host, Inas Sherkas. Today we will shine a spotlight on CPHI Middle East 2026, which is happening in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The event promises to be bigger and more impactful than ever. So we became eager to hear more. I'm pleased to speak today with Mundhir Al-Hakim, Exhibition Director at Tahaluf, an Informa company leading world-class exhibitions such as CPHI Middle East. I know for a fact that you have been an immersive part of CPHI for a very long while. Looking ahead, let's discuss how CPHI Middle East is expanding and evolving in scope and strategy.
Before we dive into that, I believe it would be good for the audience to hear first a quick recap, because CPHI has not been running for a long time. We only started in December 2024. So it'll be good to just have a quick recap of how the launch of CPHI Middle East went, just to provide context. And then we can discuss, what's coming up in the upcoming edition. Because initially, when we set out, or when we started with our plan to bring CPHI to the region and create this new platform, which is now CPHI Middle East, we felt that this market was lacking such a large scale event that connects, the region to the global pharmaceutical industry. Even though the Middle East itself is a big market, a big pharmaceutical market. It's the fifth largest pharmaceutical market.
Yeah.
Yet there wasn't a place for them to kind of showcase how impressive they are. So we set out to create this platform somewhere where, buyers and sellers could meet, global companies can meet, local companies and regional companies. And in the first edition, the event achieved incredible success. I mean, first thing is that it became the largest debut pharma event globally ever. Now, just to explain what that means, when you now look at an event like CPHI Global or Bio Boston, or any of these big events, they're huge right now. But if you go back like 20, 30 years ago, when they first started, they would have started with around 50, 100 exhibitors, maybe 5,000 people. In our case, I mean, in the first edition, yes, the event market itself has changed massively, and there's more awareness of it. But in our first edition, we had over 450 exhibiting brands,
Wow.
over 31,000 people in attendance, over 180 speakers, over 30 hours of continuous medical education hours of content, and about $3 billion worth of deals signed. All this is just in the first edition of the event.
Wow.
So that itself was a huge success for us. Now, what really makes me excited about where we're taking CPHI Middle East in 2026 is that we're growing quite quickly beyond just being an event. We're becoming this entire ecosystem for pharma and biotech in the region. What I love is that people talk about us now. Companies talk about us. If they're having a meeting in Jordan or in the UAE or in Saudi Arabia, they'll say, "Oh, let's meet at CPHI." And that for me is what I find a kind of a metric of success when we become embedded in the industry, and therefore on the back of that, our vision has to completely change. Our vision has to transform and make sure that we're adopting and we're adapting to this growth and our position in the market. So to start off, of course, with the numbers for next year on year, the event is growing by almost double. We're almost sold out. We're going to have more international brands participating, more global speakers. We're going to be working on a strategy to bring more international qualified visitors. But for us, really, it's not just about the quantity. What I find really meaningful is how we are becoming more embedded in the regional pharma ecosystem. We're not now just this event that happens once a year anymore, because in between events, we're now running webinars. I mean, we're running podcasts like this one with yourself, Inas, and with the Tira company. But we're also running roundtables that take place around the world. I mean, we're quite blessed to be under the Informa umbrella, which gives us access to some of the biggest events in the world. I mean, you'll find us doing roundtables and super sessions in CPHI Frankfurt this year. We were in Bio Boston earlier this year. We're going to be at Bio Europe in Vienna. And of course, we're going to be here in Riyadh for global health. We're always doing things. We're going to be running, roundtables, doing sessions, activations. And it's things like that that sort of really makes the event kind of become a bit more transformative in terms of what it means for the industry. And of course, our strategy is always focused about supporting Saudi's vision. And the kingdom itself is making these investments, and it's really helping us because they really are doing it. They're really making these investments in building local capabilities. And our event is trying to position itself as that sort of platform that brings together the global pharma market and connecting it with local opportunities.
Honestly, Mundhir, I'm hearing you and I'm so excited for CPHI Middle East 2026. And honestly, all these things that you're telling me, this strategy, this vision, oh my God, I really, really, really am looking forward for this. And actually following up on your social media accounts, I believe that Bio Middle East was recently launched. What's the long-term vision for having Bio Middle East with CPHI or embedded into CPHI ecosystem?
Brilliant question, and then thank you so much. And I'm glad that my social media work has sort of been picked up by yourself because we are very excited about it. I mean, first, let me just first talk about CPHI Middle East and its biotech, tracks and topics that we already did cover. So last year when we had CPHI Middle East, we of course, as an event that touches on all the pharma supply chain, we focused on bio. We had next gen bio stage, 3 days of biotech content.
Mhm.
And we were focusing on things around bioprocessing, biologics manufacturing, vaccine development. So those topics were all there. But what we've now done, I mean, the bio series of events that happen all around the world are huge. I mean, they are the biggest biotech events that happen in America, Europe, and Asia. So bringing Bio Middle East for us is a huge achievement for us at Tahaluf and of course for the kingdom. You can see that the Vice Minister himself is the one who made the official announcement about bringing Bio Middle East to the kingdom. His Excellency, the Minister of Health, mentioned this in the press release that went live and was circulated, and the response was incredible. I mean, I talk about this a lot, but all major media outlets around the world, because it's already something that's happening. So there is a biotech shift, and the market is moving towards that direction, bringing Bio Middle East to CPHI and co-locating it with CPHI Middle East. What we're aiming to achieve is to create this mega pharma and biotech week when anyone comes, any pharma professional, biotech professional comes to this week, they will get hopefully what their objectives are. They'll be able to find partners, they'll be able to look at investment or investors, people that they could collaborate with. What we're looking at doing, I mean, by bringing Bio Middle East to the region, is we're looking at putting biotech as the future of pharma in the region. We believe it's going to be the future of pharma. And our vision with Bio Middle East is to make it the premier, meeting place for biotech innovation, investment, partnerships in the region. So by doing this, hopefully, again, like what we did and the success that we did with CPHI.
I believe with all this enthusiasm, it is going to happen, and it's going to even, bigger than what anyone is anticipating at the moment. You actually spoke about a very important part, which is supporting the local. How do you think the conference agenda and all your efforts altogether are going to be of a value when it comes to supporting and helping to actually meet the evolving regional needs, let's say, in terms of innovation, sustainability, or even local manufacturing?
That's a very good question. The way that our events really stands out is that it's not just an exhibition. It's not just a trade show. It's where, real discussions are taking place. There's features that allow different topics and tracks, and different types of activations to take place that really allow anyone in the industry, whether you're a business professional or you're somebody who is maybe a new graduate that's looking at the industry, sort of trying to navigate the industry, is really split it out in a way that makes it become hopefully a very easy journey when you come to the event. So what we're very good at doing is creating very dedicated tracks. So you'll have tracks on many different things around innovation, as you rightly said, on things like biotech. Again, talking about the biotech development, or about manufacturing practices. So what you'll find is that during our events, whether it's coming to CPHI Middle East or Bio Middle East, there'll be very relevant content. You might come to the event as a speaker, but come out of it with new opportunities. And of course, something that we really focus on is when it comes to putting together content, is we've got a very strong steering committee that is crucial to how we approach content. We work very closely with the Ministry of Health, as I mentioned earlier. They are, of course, the event is under the patronage of the Ministry of Health, but the way that they support the event is a lot more than that. I've not seen any event or many events around the world that have this type of structure, where a government entity is literally a partner to the event. We've got within our committee multinational pharma companies, local manufacturers, regulatory bodies, academic institutes, investment companies. And this level of diversity ensures that we're addressing the needs of everyone, not just certain segments of the industry. And it's something that we really leverage on.
Wow, wow. Honestly, I'm so impressed. And I know that many of these objectives are basically, it's these days it's all about technology. There are many digital tools that participants and whoever is coming to attend CPHI can use, such as the matchmaking platforms, the guided tours, and all the event applications that you're going to implement in the in-person experience. How do you think are they designed to actually make networking and opportunities thrive?
Technology itself in the event world, like out, just in general, globally, it's taking a lot more of an involvement in how events are structured, how to get the most out of events. Things like AI are coming into play that really sort of support how the event app, for example, is developed, and how people are connected to the best way, so that they can get the most out of the event. And I'm from our side, I mean, in Tahaluf and in what we're doing with CPHI Middle East in 2026, I'm very excited about that, and how we're approaching that digital strategy. What we're doing with technology is not just adding it to sort of replace that, because I think we've all seen that nothing can beat the in-person experience. I mean, we saw during COVID, we companies tried to do things online and webinars and everything, and it was great. But
Mm.
there was such a huge shift in attending events after COVID, because everyone then saw how important technology was. In our case, of course, you rightly so mentioned. I mean, we're making big upgrades on our matchmaking platform. We're going to have a dedicated team that will make sure that the right people are at the event. These people will be, decision makers. They'll have budget. They'll have given us indication that they are in the market to source products or technology or anything else relevant to the event. And we're also working with a hosted buyers program company that would help us facilitate this and ensure that these connections, between the buyers and the exhibitors actually happen during the event. The event app is itself becoming a lot more than just, the app that goes with an event, and sort of providing you with digital programs or anything else. It's now going to be able to really offer you that personalized journey, creating a personalized agenda for you, giving you notifications that are relevant for you depending on what you've highlighted as being of interest to you, giving you an interactive floor plan, like a floor map that can help you navigate the event in the most efficient way. And speaking about AI, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be introducing AI-powered recommendations through the app that can help or suggest connections based on your profile of what you've described as your interests for the event, and they will on a daily basis be suggested to you, so that you're getting the chance to meet the right people. These are the things that we're sort of doing to kind of add more value and enhance the experience. But like outside of that, what we're also doing ourselves as event organizers is using technology to communicate these digital solutions. I mean, it's all great to have these digital solutions, but if not everyone knows about them and implements them, then we're not getting that message. So we're going to be using, social media, email campaigns, different types of technology, make sure that the message is being made aware.
That is actually very, very, very true. As a regional pharma hub, how is CPHI helping emerging companies and startups gain visibility?
Very particularly passionate about, from day one. I remember when we were, I mean, I'll talk about the startup, market and everything, but just to kind of give you an insight in how we develop things. I mean, when we started putting the startup market together for the first edition, there weren't that many. I mean, the region at the moment isn't that strong when it comes to startups in the pharma and biotech industry compared to, the rest of the world. But when we were sort of choosing where do we put the startup hub or the market, on the floor plan, the first thing that we all agreed on was that we have to put them right in the middle, right on the main aisle. Even if there's 20, 30 of them, we want to give them the spotlight. So for us, the startup market features that are focused around, let's say, women in pharma or anything else that's, that we introduce to the event aren't just features or side features. They are very central to our mission of developing that regional pharmaceutical ecosystem that I was referring to earlier. Talking about startups, I mean, what we've done for the next edition is we've created an even bigger and more dedicated area with, subsidized exhibition costs that makes it very affordable for young companies to get involved. But then it's more than just about the booth itself. We're also providing them with a loud voice. We're giving them access to our platform where we'll be highlighting them, we'll be showcasing them during our marketing campaign. And we'll be making sure that we connect them with, potential investors or giving them a platform to pitch their innovation. So there's going to be a startup pitch zone as well during the event. We're also going to have a competition that hopefully will give the winners, significant exposure and prizes. In addition to that, I mean, I think something that you touched on as well is the women in pharma. Really recognizing and amplifying the contributions of women in the industry. And there are some very powerful women that work in the industry that, for me, this was something that I mentioned a lot building up to the event in year one. We wanted to make it clear that this, that women are in very powerful positions. We had incredible women speakers last year. And again, for this year, we're going to be having a very special zone dedicated for women in pharma, an entire track that will be focusing on content. And of course, the conference lineup itself, diversity when it comes to women speakers getting involved with content. Outside of that, I mean, speaking of things that we're doing for the region as well is the CPHI Middle East Academy. So talking about women and how, there's an incredible amount of women leaders, there's also an incredible amount of talent that I've seen. I mean, I've only been in Saudi Arabia for about just under 2 years, but the talent here is incredible. And we really we introduced it sort of softly in the first edition, this academy that allows young professionals or graduates to get training or professional development on how to make even simple things like how to make their CV better, how to, be better in interviewing for pharmaceutical roles. And all these things help develop that ecosystem, in the region.
That is actually very interesting. As pharma professionals and businesses who are expected to come and attend CPHI Middle East, what are they exactly expecting?
Allah, if they come to CPHI Middle East 2026, they should expect, 3 days that could potentially transform their business in the region. And I know that sounds like a bold, claim, but we've seen it happen. Just in the first edition, we've seen it happen. And I mean, firstly, like the connections that they make will be huge. I mean, when they come to the event, they'll get access, to over 600 exhibiting brands and this time, I mean, last year we had around 30,000 attendees. Hopefully this year we're looking at over, 45,000 people attending the event. So the networking opportunities are going to be extraordinary. And these aren't just going to be casual conversations. They're going to be focused discussions with real decision makers, and this is the strength of this event, honestly. And I'm an events professional who's been doing events or attending events for maybe more than 12 years now. But what I saw happen in year one was incredible, and I can give you one example. Maybe I won't mention the company name, but it was day two of an event, and I was sort of doing my thing, going from one place to another, and one of our biggest exhibitors came to us. That came to us actually from the UAE to the event, and the most senior person there, that was the person that we were connecting with and engaging with, came up to me and said, "How on earth have you done this? I mean, I didn't just meet the decision maker that I've been trying to meet for months, but I've met them and their boss." She was just like over the moon. That for us, these are the kind of feedback that keeps us going. I mean, this is what we do these events for, and this type of feedback came from many other people. Uh, I got this phrase told to me many times while I was at the event, of companies, speakers, our government entity, partners coming to me and saying these exact words, that this event exceeded our expectations. So I really do believe that people that will come, professionals that do come to the event, hopefully will have new opportunities and really get the chance to sort of potentially transform their business in the region. The extraordinary market insights they will receive from all the content that we offer at the event. I mean, that the Saudi market itself is growing or evolving rapidly, and people that come to the event really get the chance to hear about these developments, these strategies, what the future is looking like for the region, even things like regulatory updates. That information is not always accessible online. And when people come to the event and through the conference program, they'll get to hear about this. They'll get to hear from speakers who are actually part of shaping that policy or driving that innovation. I mean, last year we had, CEO of SFDA speaking, or the vice minister, His Excellency the Vice Minister speaking, and CEOs of the Saudi National Institute of Health, who are managing all the clinical trials. I guess finally they will also be very surprised. They will see that the event is actually really a gateway to pharmaceutical business globally. We had Western companies coming to this event and being able to use our platform in Riyadh to connect with companies in the East. And that's something that we're actually really driving on more.
Wow. So following up on all that you said, there are multiple VIPs, let's say, and people who have high purchasing powers, people and let's say companies that whoever coming to CPHI can find opportunities working with them. From your experience, what's like the best way to ensure having meaningful meetings and ROIs for companies?
Well, that's a great question. It's something that we always talk about with our exhibitors and our sponsors and our speakers. I mean, these are the people that we talk to generally, but we can't talk to all 30,000 visitors. But one of the key things to do is, first of all, look at two things. First is the ROI of your attendance of the event. Then there's the return on objective. So it's about what is your company doing, and where are you? What stage of your company's development are you in? And the best thing to do, the key to getting both the ROI and your return on objective, is to just be as prepared as possible.
Right.
I think the most successful participants that joined our event really did their research about what's happening in the region. They did, their research about all the local companies, the regional companies, the people that will be speaking, all the different topics that will be happening. And I think it's really important to understand what you want to achieve and try to kind of make the most out of those 3 days. I strongly recommend, for people coming to the event to kind of get that meaningful experience is to take advantage of the things that we offer, like our matchmaking platforms. Start reaching out to people early on, set up meetings, make sure that you've got a busy schedule during the event, multiple panel sessions that are happening. There's many different features and activities that take place on the site during the event. We will do everything that we can to make people aware about them, but try and get involved in them because they create extraordinary opportunities for people that did. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely one thing. I think for exhibitors though, it's a bit different. I mean, we've all got account managers, we've got exhibitors and sponsors, and even speakers would have somebody that from the Tahaluf side that they engage with generally. So I would say take advantage of us, use us as much as we can. We love it. We on a regular basis, we go out and send emails on showcases. We put, let's say, the top, here are 10 innovations that are going to be showcased at the event, or these are 10 speakers that are going to be showcased at the event. And what I would recommend for all exhibitors to do is just come out, reach out to your account manager and say, look, I've got this incredible product that I'm going to be launching at CPHI Middle East, and just see what we would do for you. We would absolutely elevate that launch, and we will tell everyone about it so that when people come to the event, they come to you to find out more about it. And I would say, finally, just come and enjoy the moment. I think, yes, there's ROI and coming, with an open mind.
Yeah, that's exactly the spirit that we're looking for people to actually discover opportunities on site and at the same time do all the planning beforehand, especially if there's someone in their mind to connect with. And I believe you're facilitating high value interactions. I believe you have options like lounge spaces and one-to-one meetings inside the CPHI in person. And I believe these facilities will provide smoother and more professional, let's say, networking opportunities for whoever attending.
We always work very hard on the floor plan, and the way that, not just the floor plan, but the way that we split out or create different, or have different features that take place around the event. So we deliberately do this when we design the event. So the best way to kind of get the most out of this, as you said, we have things like match and meet lounges. We've got Majlis lounge. We've got the recharge lounges. We've got the different sort of meeting rooms or one-on-one meeting spaces that we create during the event. So I would just recommend that people explore the event, understand, know about what's happening each day. And as I mentioned in the previous question, get involved in things. Like, if you're in a content session and you've got this world-class speaker or this high, senior representative from government speaking, get involved in that discussion, ask questions, join the discussion, and make sure that your voice is heard, and then be able to follow up afterwards. That's the way to get the most out of the features. I mean, we're creating the features, but unless you're interacting with those features, you then will be able to get the most value out of it. And I would say, when you're in these lounges and in these match and meet, in the match and meet lounge or the Majlis lounge, the Majlis lounge is the lounge for very, high officials, like VIPs.
Mhm.
Go up to people, introduce yourself, that's what events are for. People are expecting it. And I think sometimes people are quite hesitant or just feel like it's intruding. But in events, that's what people are there for. They're there to meet people. You never know who you might be talking to. You might be talking to the CEO of SFDA, who would tell you about their strategy next year to bring X or Y, Z medicine, and it just happens to be that you're that company that can do it. So I would really say, just interact with the features, interact with the content, and get involved, and try and access these different lounges to get the most out of the event.
That is actually very true. And I believe whoever listens to this podcast episode is going to be beyond excited to join and be part of CPHI Middle East 2026. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into CPHI Middle East. Thank you so much, Mundhir, for your valuable contribution. And honestly, I've enjoyed this podcast so much. This conversation, all the energy that you have, all the achievements that you're doing, all the efforts. I believe it will pay off in CPHI Middle East 2026 in Riyadh, and I'm so excited to be there.
Thank you so much for firstly doing this with us, giving us the opportunity to talk about the event. I mean, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I think your questions were great. It really sort of helped me bring out some of the exciting things that are happening. I think this is really just the beginning,
Right.
and I think what you're doing, I mean, this podcast idea, this opportunity to give a voice to all the different sort of healthcare trends that are happening in the region, I think it's great. So thanks a lot for having us and hosting us, and we look forward to hosting you, inshallah,
Inshallah.
at the event.
Inshallah, inshallah. I'm looking forward to May, honestly, 2026. I can't wait. And I'm so happy to have this opportunity and this conversation with you, Mundhir. And thanks to everyone who's listening to us right now. See you in our upcoming episodes.